No, this one is mine.
All
Try
right.
you.
Very good morning. Good morning, good
This one
afternoon,
is
and good
mine.
evening to everyone present here today.
Investment.
A very warm welcome to OPassion Singapore, Malaysia Global. My name is Ginny Tan, your host today. OPassion is formed in November 2020 and run by a group of dedicated host members. We had our first trial webinar on the 23rd of September 2021, and our first public webinar was on the 30th of September 2021 under the mentorship of Dr. Bill Williams. We meet here every Thursday. So the mission of All Passion is to ignite passion for humanity and to nurture mindset and leadership for passion and OPLES, and also to form passion groups for good causes. Today we have a special speaker with us, and she needs no introduction, and we all know her, and she is none other than Dr. Tunishai A. Ford from USA. Well, now we would like to introduce our special speaker, Dr. Tunishai Ford. So let me do a short introduction about who she is and why you must be here, and you have to put pat yourself on the back and say thank you for being here tonight, because you are hearing from Dr. Tunishai Ford. And Dr. Tunishai Ford is a founder and CEO of Your Own Uniqueness, INC, a non-profit 501c3 organization for self-improvement, overcoming barriers, and realizing full potential and destiny. She's also an international transformational speaker, life coach, empowerment trainer, teacher of life skills, and many, many more, etc. and etc. She's also the host of former TV talk show called the Dr. Tunishai Ford Show. So tonight you are in for a treat. So we welcome you, Dr. Tunishai. Over to you.
All right, all right, all right, all right. And this is a time to get excited. This is a great day to be alive. I don't care what's going on in the world. This is a great time to be alive. And I'm going to prove it to you. I want you all to just open up your ears and open up your hearts and your minds. And I want you to get ready for a message of exhortation. This is an exhortation message. And I want you to understand that this particular message was inspired by Mr. Ash Mafara himself. Look at the title, Dream Bigger, Taking Off the Limits. How many times have you heard Mr. Ash say that? Dream bigger. And so when I heard that, I said, wait a minute now. I said, I'm going to do a message about dreaming bigger. So I did a little research, put my own little thing together, put my little twist on it. So here we are. So I hope that you all enjoy it. But if nothing else, I hope that this message will allow you to take away the opportunity to just know that you are enough. Everything that you need to accomplish what God has called you to do is already in you. But you have to utilize those tools. So we're going to start right now. Let me make a statement. You have heard me say this statement many times. The richest place in the world is the graveyard, because it's filled with so many unfulfilled dreams, ambitions, and life's purpose. It's filled with people who were unable to dream and take off the limits because of the cares of this world and living someone else's expectations for their lives, which caused a stumbling block. It's about making more poor choices. These people make poor choices. And they had fear in their hearts. Therefore, it blocked productivity. And lastly, just choosing to stay in a place of comfortability and because it was safe. Oftentimes, we don't do things because it's safe. We don't want to come outside of our comfort zone. But unfortunately, it's not just those who are in the graveyard, but unfortunately, the same mindset exists for so many of the living as well. The world is filled with people who will do just enough to survive and maybe just accomplish little. And I'm hoping that everyone on this platform is not like this, even our YouTube listeners. I hope that they will take this message and begin to learn how to soar. Because again, I'm under the belief that so many people today do not dream. There's so much going on in the world. You can't turn the TV on without seeing something negative, seeing all the horrific things that are going on all over the world, sometimes just feeling helpless, even in your family, even in your personal life. But I'm here to tell you that when you stay safe, we underestimate our capabilities and we limit our future achievements. And we deny ourselves exceptional success. And most importantly, we are totally out of the will of God. We're totally out of the will of God because He is a do bigger God with no limits. And He has created us to do bigger and to dream bigger and accomplish bigger. And I want to just say this scripture. The scripture that comes to my mind is John 10:10. When the word of God goes on to say that the thief, it comes to steal, to kill, and destroy. But God said, I have come to give you life and that more abundantly. Now, I think that having life is a great thing. But He said, I didn't only just come to give you life, but I came to give it to you more abundantly. Therefore, I want you to stretch the limits. I want you to dream. I want you to be able to imagine yourself being the unimaginable because I'm in it. And when you have that kind of mindset, you can do the impossible. All things are possible to him that believes. Ephesians 3:20 says, now to him who is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we ask or think. God is saying, I can do exceedingly and abundantly above all you ask or think. That means that if He can do that, that means we have to be ready to receive. When He puts it in our hands, we have to dream big enough so that we can take that mantle and run with it. When you can combine imagination, faith, focus, and dependence on God, there is nothing that can stop you. There's nothing that can stop you. So therefore, I would like to share right now with all of you several practices that will help you come out of the realm of the possible and the achievable and enter the realm of the extraordinary, exceptional success. I want you all to understand that right now we're going to enter into a realm of extraordinary, achievable, and success. So let's go on to the first one. The first thing I want to share with you all today, the first practice, number one, is I want you all to be outlandish. That's probably a word that you all don't use very much. Being outlandish. I want you all to be able to imagine. I want you to use your imagination. This is an exercise where I want you to stretch your imagination by being outlandish. That means I want you to think of something that you know you probably wouldn't do, but I want you to imagine yourself doing it. Let me say that again. I want you to think about something that you know that you probably wouldn't do, but I want you to imagine yourself doing it. Again, this is an exercise that I want you to practice because this will prime you to move past the subconscious limits and that pseudo-reality that imposes us, that stops us from doing what we're supposed to be doing. So when you can imagine yourself doing something that you know you wouldn't do, like for example, some of you may say, well, I would never want to write a book. That's not in your heart. But I want you to think about maybe writing a book. It might be writing a book and not only writing a book, but making it a first-class novel to be a bestseller. Some of you may say, well, I would never try to fly a plane, but I want you to imagine yourself being a pilot. You see where I'm going with this? It's about imagining and taking and stretching your imagination, thinking outlandish, thinking outside of the box. This is how we begin to learn how to dream bigger, because we can imagine ourselves doing things that we normally wouldn't do, that we can definitely imagine ourselves doing the things that we desire to do by dreaming bigger. Number two, then I want you to learn how to just dream. What if you had everything you needed, the money and the time? I want you to brainstorm on that. Again, this helps you push back past the self-imposed limits. A lot of people, they buy into the notion that you have to have a lot of money and have a lot of time to do what God has called you to do. If you look at the people who have accomplished the most, they've come from very humble beginnings. They come from very humble beginnings. They didn't have the money. They probably didn't even have the time because they're so busy trying to figure things out. But if you get to a place where you learn to dream outside the box, imagine yourself with everything, every tool that you need to accomplish what you want to accomplish, and then you'll be able to dream. I want you to practice on just dreaming. I want you all to think about this. I've always shared this with Deep Dive. I talked about creating a dream board. I don't know if you all are familiar with a dream board, but all it is taking a poster board or a photo album and just cutting out pictures or words of affirmation and begin to put on this dream board or your album, whatever, or your wall, whatever you want to use, and just put things down there, the words, affirmations, pictures of things that you see yourself accomplishing. I want you all to practice that. I did that. And it's a very, very effective tool. One of the things that we do, I have a program that we do every year in the summer for our youth. It's called Step Up. It's a youth entrepreneur training program. It's called Step Up, and we teach them how to start a business, run the business, and sustain the business. And Step Up stands for stimulate, teach, empower potentially upcoming professionals. And one of the classes that we hold dearly is where we teach them how to do vision boards. We take our youth, and then from the ages of 14 to 20, we teach them how to create a vision board and live their dream. Because if you can visualize something, you can see it come to fruition. So they place pictures on the vision board, or they put words on the vision board, and we have them look at that and imagine themselves accomplishing that. So when you begin to do a vision board, when you begin to visualize those things that you want to come into existence, it will draw. Like you know what the law of attraction, you will draw those things to you. But in order for you to draw those things to you, you have to dream it. It can't come into fruition unless it's a dream, unless it's something that's on the inside of you. So I want you to learn how to dream. Take that what's in you and dream. Dream big. Make it a reality. Put it on a vision board. Put it in a photo album. Begin to look at that thing every single day until those things come to fruition. And then I want you to do something else. I want you to go to step 3. This is another area. I want you to take a current goal. All of you have goals right now. Take a current goal and I want you to inflate it. Inflate it. Push it to the limit. Think of ways to make it 2 or 3 times larger. What does that look like? What does that look like? When you begin to inflate that goal, think about the goal that you have right now. Wherever that might be something global. It might be something global. It might be something local. But I want you to begin to take that vision and I want you to inflate it. Maybe some of you do want to write a book, but don't just write a book, make it a bestseller. Some of you may want to be missionaries. Don't just focus on one country, make it all over the world. Go to different countries. Some of you may desire to have this, to become multi-millionaires. Do that. Think big. Think about millions of dollars coming into your hands. I want you to take your goal, whatever that goal is, I want you to begin to inflate it. 2 or 3 times. Again, we're working on an exercise. We're working on imagination, because your imagination, that's where the dreams come from. Everything that we see that has been created in this world, somebody had to dream it up. Somebody may say all those wonderful monuments and buildings and the different things, AI, even with OPassion, that's someone's dream. And I'm pretty sure that this dream has become so large to Mr. Ashman Farr is probably out of this world. He's like, wow, I didn't know I was going to do all this. Why? Because he began to take that goal and he inflated it. And now it's a reality. I can tell you that because now we're all here. We are part of that reality. So when you take a current goal and you inflate it, that you're on your way to realizing that your dreams can be bigger. You can't achieve that which you may be out of your realm right now. But when you begin to use your imagination and inflate that goal, you will achieve success. And then the next step, I want you to ask this is something I want you to go back down memory lane. I want you to go back to a time when you were a child, maybe an 8-year-old. And I want you to ask your 8-year-old self what your goals should be. Let me repeat that. Ask your childlike self what your goals should be. Why am I saying that? Because if you take a child who's come from a normal environment, who's had loving parents, they already know how to think bigger. If you ask a child, and do this when you get a chance, if you ask a child like that, what do you want to be when you grow up? They say things in the present, in the affirmative. They say, I am going to be the president of the United States. I am going to be a millionaire. I am going to be, see what I'm saying? A child like that, they have no limits. They're not afraid. They have confidence. They have endless enthusiasm and optimism. Why? Because they have not been tainted with the cares of the world. I want you to get to a place where you can go back to being that little child, that little boy or little girl, and begin to take those limits off of yourself, because a child doesn't have any limits. Their imagination is endless. So if you can go back in time and ask your child self what your goals would be, you'll be surprised of what you can come up with, because a child has no limits. They understand that what they put their hands to, they can achieve it. How many times have you seen children have lemonade stands or paper routes, or make little trinkets and they sell them? We have somebody right now online who, when they were a little girl, very small, maybe like at least 10 years old, they were little entrepreneurs, but they didn't even know it. They would take little paper dolls and make little stuffed animals, and they would sell them, because nobody told them they couldn't do that. They came up with the ideal and they did it. And that's what we should do. We should be coming up with the ideal and we do it. And when we begin to do that, I promise you, God is going to allow those things, all the things that you need, all the tools that you need are going to be drawn to you, just like a child. Why? Because you're going to be optimistic. You're going to have that confidence. You're not going to be walking in fear. So again, ask your 8-year-old self what your goals should be. And then after you do that, I want you to begin to change your words. Words hold power. Change your words and connect them to your dreams. Not just change your word, but I want you to connect them to your dreams. Connect your words to your dreams. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through him that gives me strength. That's an affirmation. That's an affirmation. I want you to begin to speak into existence what you want to achieve. Look at the end result. Don't look at the problem. Don't see the glass as being half empty. See it being half full and begin to speak that. Sometimes people I've seen people do that, take little sticky pads and they take and put affirmations around their home. I have one on my mirror. I have a scripture on my mirror. I talk about, I ask God to just bless me indeed and to enlarge my territory and let his hand be upon my life. Okay, I think about things like that. I speak that into existence. When I pray, I speak that into existence. Let me give you a good example. I think I shared with you all that I am a cancer survivor. And when I was going through my cancer ordeal, this is all about changing your words. When I was going through my cancer ordeal, before I became so sick and I had no strength, I read a book by a man by the name of Charles Capps. And all of the words talked about scriptures dealing with healing. And so what I began to do is I would speak these scriptures while I had my strength. I would put it on a mic. I would put it on a cassette. I had it on a cassette player. And I began to record the words. I began to say, I'm healed. I'm whole. I'm restored. By his stripes, I'm healed. Those things, healing scriptures. And when it got to the point where I was too weak to speak those words over myself, I had just enough strength to push that button, that play button. And I would hear my words speaking to myself. I would hear those words, and that gave me strength. That's an example of speaking things into existence. That's an example of speaking and connecting your words to your dreams, because it was not my desire to be sickly. It was not my desire to be in that state. So I began to speak words to bring myself out of that sickness. Did it work? I'm here now. That was in 1998, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today. So it worked. So when you begin to change your words and connect your words to your dreams, not just speak words, but connect them to your dreams, you will begin to see the things that you desire to come to fruition. You will begin to see the things that you desire to come to fruition. And then I want you to learn how to believe in yourself. You'll be surprised how many people, say, we're all professionals. We got it going on. You'll be surprised how many people live in self-doubt. Maybe even on this platform, even those who might be watching this on the YouTube channel, They may have self-doubt because they don't really believe in themselves in certain areas. Some areas they're real good in, but other areas they falter and they say, I can't do that. But Proverbs 23:7 says, for as he thinks in his heart, then so is he. For as he thinks in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. I want you to get to a place where you own your I am-ism. I am-ism. I am-ism. That means that you are enough. I am enough-ism. I am enough-ism. Begin to say I am enough-ism. That means that I am good enough. I am smart enough. I am qualified enough. I am worthy enough. Begin to say that. You are enough. You are more than enough. When you begin to tell yourself that self-doubt has to leave, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you see a person that is strong? Do you see a person that's unstoppable? Do you see a person that's worthy of having everything that's good for you? Or do you see a person that's defeated? Do you see a person that's a loser? Do you see a person that's always sad and down in the dumps? It depends. How do you see yourself? When you look in the mirror, I know we may have good days and bad days, but God wants us to get to a place where every single day, no matter what's going on, we can live in victory. So when you begin to own your I am enoughism, when you begin to own that, I am good enough, I am smart enough, I am qualified enough, I am worthy enough, I am successful enough. In fact, I am more than enough because I can serve a God. I serve a God who is bigger. Therefore, I can dare to dream bigger and think bigger. When you have that mindset, you are well on your way to learning how to dream bigger and taking off the limits. And then after you do that, after you've done those 6 things, there's an enemy that's in the way. It sometimes attacks all of us, but we're going to get rid of him. His name is fear. I want you to begin to learn how to kill the fears. People say that fear is false evidence appearing real. I've given it another answer. I've given it another meaning. I say it's finding excuses about really succeeding. Fears, finding excuses about really succeeding. You make excuses. That goes back to number 6 about not feeling good enough. Oftentimes we allow fear to hinder us from doing what we've called to do because we put up these blocks. Our imagination runs wild. Before we even get to the goal, we've already put up stumbling blocks. We've got to face those fears head on. We've got to remove them. I want to just be transparent with you. Do you know how many doors this? And I'm ashamed of this. I'm not proud of this at all. How many doors I did not walk through because I was afraid. How many doors I failed to see as an opportunity because I already put up stumbling blocks. I already predicted the end of the thing before I even start walking in it. And I'm pretty sure if you all are honest with yourselves, you'll all say, hey, I've been there. I've done that. But guess what I had to do? I had to tell myself this. I tell myself this all the time. I may be afraid of success. What do you mean, Dr. T? Hear me out. Let me finish my statement. I may be afraid of success, but I wouldn't have it any other way. That's the end of it. I wouldn't have it any other way. So therefore, I've learned to face my fears. And it might mean taking a friend along. It might be more prayer, more meditation. It might be more affirmations to build yourself up. But if you have a goal and you know that you have a mandate to do something greater than yourself while you're on this earth, you cannot continue to stay in fear. That's an enemy that you have to kick outside of your home. Get him out of your life. Because as long as he's there, as long as he stays present in your life, you will never be able to accomplish everything we just talked about. The other 6 items that we talked about. He's an enemy. He's the part of the John 10:10 that I talked about, the thief that comes to steal, to kill, and destroy. That's him, fear. Number 1 enemy, fear. That's why the people in the graveyard, that's why the graveyard is the greatest, is the richest place in the world, because people operate in fear. They couldn't get past that. They couldn't get past the limits. So the biggest thing we need to do right now, before we do all the other things, we have to kill the fear and ask yourself, why am I afraid? Some people are afraid because of maybe how they were raised. You know, there was always a family where They didn't accomplish anything. Nobody ever went to college. Nobody ever even finished high school, whatever it may have been. Maybe you're afraid because you had people that were telling you what you had to do in your life. I want you to be a doctor. I want you to be a lawyer. I want you to be a dentist. I want you to go over and do this and do that. And you never had an opportunity to use your own mind and to imagine your own life. Therefore, when you tried to step out of that realm, people criticized you. So you held back and didn't do what was in your heart. There's all kinds of reasons why you might be afraid. But I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are on this platform and those who may be watching on YouTube, do not allow fear to hinder you anymore. Fear may be false evidence appearing real, but it's also finding excuses about really succeeding. You're finding excuses. Let go of the excuses. As long as you live in a world of excuses, you will never, ever begin to just soar and do what God has called you to do. You'll never realize your full potential. And the last one I want to share, the very last one I want to share with you today is to make God the CEO and founder of your enterprise. Make God the CEO and the founder of your enterprise. What is your enterprise? Your enterprise is your purpose. It's your dreams. It's your vision, the mandate you have on your life. God wants us to see the world through his eyes, his perspective. He doesn't do anything mediocre. Remember that. God doesn't do anything mediocre. Remember we talked about purpose? I gave you a definition of purpose. Purpose, a divine and deliberate mandate from God that glorifies him. First, it glorifies him. Then it justifies why are you taking up space on this earth. And then it serves mankind. Whatever God has put in your hand, remember that I gave you the message, what do you have in your hand? Whatever you have in your hand, you already have the tools. There's nothing else is coming. Nothing else is coming. Everything you need to be successful, everything you need to thrive, everything you need to believe, everything you need to imagine is already in you. When you were being formed in your mother's womb, he placed all those gifts inside of you. You already have the abilities. You are your own worst enemy if you don't achieve it. You can't blame anybody else. One of the things I've always told you, even last week we talked about with deep dive, I talked about, being 100% for your decision, 100% responsible for your decisions. You are 100% responsible for that. Nobody else can hinder you from going forth and doing what you're supposed to be doing unless you let them. Yes, we're going to have trials and tribulations. Yes, there will be obstacles. But right here is the greatest weapon that you have, your mind. Whatever you believe yourself to be able to do, you can do it. We all know about the law of attraction. We all know that whatever we believe, whatever we think, we can draw those things to us. Your mind is a powerful thing. Look around you. Everything you see that's in existence, somebody thought it up. Somebody imagined it. Somebody dared to dream bigger. So begin to make God the CEO and founder of your enterprise. When we grasp the vastness of his greatness, then we can grasp the vastness of our greatness, because we're great because he's in us. And the word of God says in Matthew 19:26, with man, this may be impossible, but with God, all things are possible. Make him the CEO and founder of your enterprise. You can do anything you can do. Anything you desire to do is possible. Look at Mr. Aspafaro. Even some of your own lives, some of the things that you all have accomplished. I would have never thought that I would have been an author, not only an author of one book, but the author of 4 books. I would have never thought that I'd have a TV show. My God, Tunishai Ford, if you only knew my beginnings, you would ever, Tunishai Ford has a TV show. Hey, you don't believe me? Go on YouTube and put in Dr. Tunishai Ford show and watch some of my episodes. I did it. And I'm not being braggadocious. I say it with humility. Every time the theme music came on and I welcomed everybody to the show, I was like, my God, this is happening. This is happening. Who would have ever thought that I would have done that? Who would have ever thought that I would be the CEO and the founder of an organization? But the whole point is that I'm doing it not because I'm all of that. It's because he's all of that. And he helped me do it. When you begin to understand your abilities in dreaming bigger and taking off the limits, you can achieve the unachievable. So I'm going to do a recap now of what we talked about today. The recap: dream bigger, taking off the limits. Number one, be outlandish. Think of things that you normally wouldn't do, and imagine yourself doing it. Then I want you to begin to just dream. Take all the limits off. It doesn't matter about the money or the time, but just your imagination and your belief. And number three, take a current dream and inflate it. Whatever your goal is, make it 2 or 3 times bigger. Go beyond that. The number four, ask your 8-year-old self what your goal should be. Pretend you're a little child. Ask yourself, what would I do if I was 8 years old? What would I want to accomplish? And I promise you, ask a child one day. When you get a chance, ask a child, especially a child that's come from a good home and they have a normal family life. They're big dreamers. You need to go to that place where you are also a big dreamer. Number five, change your words and connect them to your dreams. Not just change your words, but connect them to your dreams. That's the most important thing. Number six, believe in yourself. Begin to look in the mirror and see the person that you are intended to be. Number seven, kill your fears. Fear and faith cannot dwell in the same realm. Either one's going to exist and overtake the other. So get rid of the fear and begin to live in faith, walk in faith. And number eight, last but not least, make God the CEO and founder of your enterprise. Take off the limits because the change is going to come. You are called to be a world changer. By dreaming bigger, you can accomplish that goal. Thank you so much for allowing me to share. I'm Dr. T. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Dr. T. Thank you so much. Wow, I have taken down so much notes and I can't read fast enough. So I'm definitely going back to your recording, Dr. T. Yeah. It's so empowering and so encouraging to listen to you. Each time I listen to you, I get really, really empowered. What can I say? I'm really, really so thankful that you're here with us today and you are spending time with us, sharing with us all your nuggets. And also, I would like to also thank you for sharing God with us, because without God, nothing would be here. For me, I'm a believer, so I'm not sure about those who are not. But without God, I think there's no world, there's no you, there's no me. So I believe in God, and I want to thank you for sharing, because there are a lot of speakers who would not talk about God because they are afraid to share about God. So as for you, I know you are very bold in your sharing and you're always talking about God, and that's what it is all about. Without God, like I said, nothing is possible. So with God, everything is possible. Thank you, Dr. Tunishai. And we have taken notes and you have shared with us 8 points. Wow. I have really tried to write as much as I can and taken down all the notes that you have shared. And I believe all of us who are present here today would have benefited a lot from you. Thank you so much. So I would like to give this opportunity to Brother John, who has already put up his hand to share. Over to you, Brother John.
Yes. Thank you very much. Dr. Tunisia, thank you so much. I have to say, you always inspire us and encourage us when you come to speak to us. And today you touched me. I'm sitting here. I actually didn't take as many notes as I usually do. I didn't feel it was necessary because every point by point is all together in my mind when you spoke to us. But I definitely realized that I don't think I'm, just to be honest about it, I don't think I'm dreaming big enough lately, especially at this point in my life. I'm an older gentleman. And when I listened to you, it made me realize that, I think I need to get in touch with my 8-year-old self exactly the way you were talking about, and that's it really just made me sit here and think: do I dream big enough? And I need to get back to think the way my 8-year-old self thought, and I just found that very, very encouraging and inspiring. As I feel a little guilty sitting here questioning myself about how big I'm dreaming at this point in my life when it should be bigger. And that's what I'm going to try and do. And I really appreciate what you brought to us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. If I may just say this, John, I am an older woman too. Okay, I am an older woman, and I'm never going to stop dreaming. I am determined that the grave is not going to take my purpose. This is my life mission. This is my mandate. And am I where I want to really be? No, I'm not. You may say, well, you've accomplished a lot, Dr. T, but there's so much more to be accomplished. I tell people all the time, you keep running until the bullet hits you. That's I'm gonna repeat that. You keep running until the bullet hits you. In other words, as long as you have life in your body, you keep it moving. You keep expanding. You keep evolving. There's always something else for you to do until God, like JW says, Queen JW says, you want God to call you home. You don't stop. If He looks down and see you're not active, oh well, I guess I'll come get John. He's not doing anything. You don't want him to do that, John. So you want him to see. You want him to find you busy. Let him find you busy. I don't care what it is. Write a book. let him see you on the typewriter, okay? Whatever it might be. But dream bigger. I don't care how old you are. And let me just say this. All of us are probably past 30. Maybe it might be a few younger people, but all of us are past 30. And I think when we get to a certain age, we feel like, oh, okay, I've done it all. And that's what I taught too. Don't become complacent. Don't become complacent. We're getting ready to go into our 8th year for our Step Up program. And I'm going to expand this program. We're going to go next year. We're going to start paying our students to come to class. So not only will they have training, they're going to also get paid to come. We're expanding the program. You see what I'm saying? We even have it for the adults. The magazine that we have. I don't know if you all know about the magazine, Discovering New Magazine, but the magazine is free. And I am the editor-in-chief of the magazine. I'm not being braggadocious. I say it with humility because I'm trying to show you all, dream bigger. If you're not dreaming, then maybe it's time for you to leave this earth. Don't let God find you complacent. Let Him find you busy. Let Him find you dreaming. Let Him find your imagination running, because He gave you the imagination to do whatever He's called you to do. Everything you need to be successful in this lifetime is already in you. And it's not over until you take your last breath. That's when it's over. Other than that, keep moving. Keep dreaming. Keep dreaming. Keep doing.
Thank you.
Thank you, John, and thank you, Dr. Tunishai. Okay, I see Sister Kushbu Agrawal. Hi, from Nepal.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, ma'am. Hello,
Hi.
Jenny, ma'am.
Hi.
Thank you. Thanks for calling me. Yes, we should not have to stop our dream. We should have to we should have to our thinking level so broad, because every invention is created through your thought process. As we all know, we all are using the bulb, the electricity, the modified electricity. And who is the creator of that electricity? Thomas Alva Edison. You know the history of Thomas Alva Edison. His class teacher, his principal, let him out from the school and provide him a letter in which letter there is mention that we are unable to teach your child, as your child has no quality, no efficiency. But Thomas Alva Edison's mother don't say those negative words to his son. He says that you are exceptional. You have lots of effort. You have lots of knowledge. So your teacher have no quality. So they want you to learn from outside. So we use the bulb. So that Thomas Alva Edison created electricity bulb. uh, Either he, in the process of creating this bulb, he would fail 99 times, 19, sorry, 999 times, uh 999 attempts. So when we are in failure, when we are in drop down position, that is not the last portion. That is the portion to renew one state. That is the portion to renew, to outcome with those negativity, and put your efforts to come up, to grow up. And for anything creating, like painting, or either you creating a blog, either you creating a podcast, or you are a music creator, you have to all time in creative mode. All time, what are the lyrics, what may be the topic, how should I explain in those videos. Even though if we are creating webinar, then we decide whom to invite, who is the presenter, who may be the co-host, what is the topic of webinar. So our when we are creative, when we are growing, our thinking is limitless, and the world is limitless. The universe provide each and everything to us. So we should have to believe, and from belief we can't get anything. To convert those belief in reality, we have to consistent in practice and consistent in action. And for those action, we require to learn more skill uh, day by day. And even though when we are in the process of learning a skill, sometimes we may be fail, sometimes we may be pass. And in this process, one day we achieve the one top. When we achieve the one top, our journey would not be stopped there. We have to fight for uh, another top. So the journey of success never end. Thank you, and over to you, Jenny, ma'am.
Thank you for sharing, uh, Miss Kushbu. Thank you for sharing about Thomas Edison. Thank you so much. All right, and next we have Dr. Derek is here. I saw Dr. Derek. Dr. Derek, are you there? Dr. Derek. Dr. Derek, would you like to share with us? Dr. Derek, would you like to share something with us? He may have walked off. How about Miss Antoinette? Miss Antoinette, would you like to say something to us and to Dr. Tunishai? Miss Antoinette?
Yes. Excellent. Excellent. As Dr. T was speaking, and I started dreaming and thinking, and yeah, I need to dream bigger. And like she had mentioned, there were a lot of times in my life that I thought back and I missed a lot of larger opportunity because of fear. And she is just so right. And it is, all fear is finding excuses about really succeeding. And I could relate to that because there are still times when I find excuses and thinking that I'm not good enough. Oh, I need to be validated, and all sorts of things that come up. So I thank God for Dr. Ford because she has touched a lot of areas in my life that I need to come up in. And I enjoy all of her um, presentations. And us being friends and me being in her organization, I get a lot of information and I glean a lot too. So I thank God for her.
Thank you, sister. Thank you for sharing. I am jealous of
Okay.
you. Yes, who's that? Dr. Derek? Is that Dr. Derek?
All, all right. Hopefully you can hear me now.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much. Peace, blessings, enough, holy, plenty, a lot of love to all our kings and queens in the house. Thank you very much, Janine, Queen Janine, Queen Mabel. Really appreciate it. Queen Faith, King Kumarang, uh, King John Barilla. Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate it. But oh my goodness, Queen Dr. Tunishai A. Ford, how you doing? Wonderful. What a presentation. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, that was awesome. That was awesome. Finding excuse about really succeeding. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That is magnifico. And that's what we do. We find excuses. Just like one of the excuses is age. A lot of us put age in the mix, right? Dr. Tunishai, we try to put age in the mix. And some of us, like Dr. John Barillo, I mean, King John Barillo, trying to put age in the mix. No. Listen, question. Have you reached 80?
No.
Have you reached 80 years of age? I don't think anyone here reached 80 years of age from what I'm seeing here. So remember, when you try to talk about age and that you are too old, remember God started to use Moses at age 80. That was when God called Moses into action at age 80. And he worked assiduously for 40 years. So that brings him to 120. Okay? And 120 him still conquering the Jebusites and the Amorites and running up the mountain and running up the hill and conquering new places because the Lord, because let me tell you something. The Lord don't call it qualify. The Lord qualify the call. Let me say that again. Jesus Christ don't call the qualify. Yes, maybe you might be qualified in some aspect and what have you. It doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. No matter what qualifications you think you may have, that's not the reason Christ called you. Because he will always qualify the call. And so whatever you think, just like some of the great people that gone before us, they might look at their inadequacies, but remember, God will always, always put what he needs to put in you in order to move you into the direction. Okay? So, King John, you are a man in the theater and you know about the theater. So, right away, your big dream should be either getting a theater of your own, writing and getting some plays and put them out on Broadway. Why you think Broadway is for is just for those people? No, no.
John Bareilles Theater.
You, King John Bareilles, your name can be there as the director, the producer of one of those Broadway production that you have created in your own studio. Now listen, don't let us not sell ourselves short, man. Let us stop it. We have been in unpassive too long, and we have been hearing so many mindset that we should be so gung ho on a dream right now that we shouldn't be at this stage, so many years listening to people like Dr. Tunishai Ford, listening to people like Jacqueline Warner, listening to people like Dr. John Gwen, listening to people like Miriam Edwards, listening to all of these people like oh Lord, in it to win it. Oh Lord, what's your name again? Oh mercy. The lady that sing in it to win it.
Oh, the singer, right?
The singer in it to win it. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Lurato Shadari.
Yeah.
People listening to so many people for so many years, not months, so many years listening to all of these mindset and the positive mindset and the growth mindset and the success mindset and all of the gratitude mindset and all of these mindset that we have absorbed over the years. It is time to stop. I don't have a big dream right now. Oh, come on, man. Come on. All of us should have some big, humongous dream. No, some, want to give food to some homeless. No! You should be thinking about making a big building to take the homeless off the street. Thinking about moving people from off the street and putting them somewhere. Those are the dreams that we need to be. Come on, man. We're getting too many mindset. It's like, it's like Dr. Tunishai Ford is wasting our time and talking on deaf ears. Come on, let us move into action with some good mindset that we have some big dreams that the Lord has laid upon our hearts in order to move humanity into the prosperity. Because from once you understand Ashmufari's dream, then you come on, man. You know that's the general to lift up humanity. So every dream that we have should be on a major scale to lift up humanity. So King John Bareilles, think about having some big major Broadway show. Major Broadway show. Come on, man. Think about it now, man. You have been listening to Dr. Ford too long. Think about it now, man. Some big Broadway show. Big Broadway show. Because you have what it takes, you know. God has been equipping you all these years, you know. God has been equipping you all these years. I've prepared you just for a time like this.
Yes.
Some nice, clean Broadway show without the nasty thing and the dirty thing and what have you. You understand? God has been preparing you. God has been preparing all of us. So let us not talk about age, because none of us reach 80. And that was when God took Moses at age 80 when he started his ministry. God has been preparing him for 80 years. and now is ready to come into action. God has been preparing all of us. And now it's time to get into action and stop having this fear of excuses. Excuses. Well, me no technically savvy, and me too old now. You're old when you're dead. That is when you're old. You're dead. All right. Apart from that, we are maturing. That's all. We are maturing, and the more we mature, is the better we should be. The more we mature, is the better we should be. Let us stop talking about age, because the final analysis is that God want us to live forever. We don't know how much or how long that is. We know it's a very long time, forever, long time, and so let us think that we are living in that time now, in the time that will lead to forever. So stop talking about age now. Forget about age and move into action, because we're going to have the means to get into that action. So dream. Let us really start. If we haven't started yet, King John, let us start dream. Broadway.
Yeah.
Type of dream. Thank you very much.
Thank Broadway, and all the actors are us. We are with you on the stage.
So thank you, Dr. Derek. And Brother John, are you encouraged already?
Well, yes, it's very encouraging. At some point, just to dream for myself to be on Broadway, let alone actually put my own production on Broadway. That's a very big dream. But just to think about that, I actually used to. I think back over the years, I used to walk the streets. The area that they call Broadway, it's not in one place, but in a certain area, there are a certain number of theaters, Broadway theaters. And I can think of the times I would literally walk around the area and come up upon a theater and stand outside and just stare at it and think about it. And I have to admit, I didn't think too often of my own production in a theater like that, but in my own terms of being an actor, my own chance to be involved in a production is a pretty big dream in its own in a Broadway theater. And I literally would do that often to contemplate my future and my dreams just by staring at the theater when I'm walking around Midtown or the area where all these Broadway theaters are. So I got to tell you how many people have encouraged me to write my own material or to produce my own material. Even that would be a great accomplishment, even if you didn't take it to Broadway, just to dream that big and create something that then you could produce in any venue. But of course, Broadway is the ultimate dream of most actors and writers, producers like myself. Yes, that would be the ultimate big dream. So, at this point in my life, I'm still trying. Like I said, I need to get back to my 8-year-old there who had these dreams. Even back then, I thought about what I wanted to do in the theater, even at that age. That's why I say, think back to that person, that guy, that little guy, 8-year-old, because I don't know that I'm thinking like that at the present time lately. It's not too late to have bigger dreams. So thank you, Dr. Derek, for bringing me into this and picking on me about doing a big show on Broadway. That's a very big dream, but I'm encouraged by what you say and your words today. Thank you.
John, this is Dr. T. This is Dr. T. John. I want to say this. I was talking to Antoinette Coleman, I believe it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, and one of the things I've always aspired to do was to be in a movie. Now, all my life I've been in plays. I was in high school, college, even outside of college, I've acted on stage. And that's fine. It's a lot of work. Memorization, it's a lot of work. But I've always wanted to be in television or even make a movie. So if you decide to do something in that area, call Dr. T. I would love to be in one of your productions. I would love to be in one of your productions, Dr. Don. I would love to be. Hey, call Dr. T. If nothing else, everybody laugh. Okay, don't forget about me. Don't
All
forget
right.
King John. King John.
Yes. Yes,
King
you
John.
already have one volunteer.
You see
Brother
how
John?
green work?
What's
You
that
see how
again?
green work?
You
You see
already
how
have
dream
one
work?
volunteer.
There's a volunteer. That's right.
Yeah,
You see,
and may I volunteer Dr. Derek too?
Well,
you see how green work?
I think we need to get Dr. Derek on the stage. He'd be a pretty good actor in his
Oh,
own
yeah.
way, I think.
Call
With his-
Dr.
Yeah.
Derek too. Call Dr. Derek.
King
Yeah.
John. King
Yeah.
John.
Maran
You see how
also.
dream work?
Maran can
Ah,
go.
Mabel also? Yeah, Mabel also.
Sure.
So
You
you
know,
Call,
two
call,
is
call Antoinette Coleman. She make
Maran,
everybody laugh.
volunteer.
Call
We
Antoinette.
all, the host team, we all go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be there.
On Perseverance,
Yeah,
all go.
see
I think it's
Kumaran
the
waving
world
to you.
stage. It's the world stage.
So you already have so many volunteers.
That's right.
Jeannie, can
That's
I
right.
share? Can I say something?
Yeah, sure. Sure, Mabel.
Yeah, we're talking about age. I think I can't remember. John keeps saying you're 74 or 73.
I'm 75.
75.
Yeah.
And I think Dr. Bill Williams about also 70 something. Yeah.
Yeah. At least early 70s, I know he is. Yes.
Yeah. So you know, next year, when talking about age, I was also asking about God. Next year I will be 70, and I believe life is going to enter a new season. So it's not going to cool down, but and it's all because of God is above everything. Mr. Ash Mufara is the anchor man. When Dr. T mentioned about if you have money and time, what would you do? And many people are held back because they got no money, and they are held back because they have no time. So here it is. If you have money and time, what would you do? How big would your dream be? And this is where, to John or to all of us, as believers in the Bible, Dr. T, you would know there is this happening that is called wealth transfer. There's going to be a wealth transfer in the last days. And I strongly believe what Mr. Ash Mufara is doing is really activating, initiating what God has ordained thousands of years ago. There's going to be a wealth transfer in the last days. So every one of us here and all the on perseverance, if you could embrace what God has done, we are part of this wealth transfer. If we are part of this wealth transfer, this is where we will have time and money to do what God has for us. Of course, this wealth transfer is indeed to fulfill God's heartbeat to make the world a better place. That's why many of us really we are running with Mr. Ash Mufara. It is time for the world to be better. And it is exactly God's goal, God's heartbeat to make the world a better place. So Mr. Ash Mufara, just one person, one person. Christ, one person changed the whole world. And here it is, there is one man, Mr. Ash Mufara, answering to God's call, self-sacrificing, giving up his personal goal and ambition, giving up his, I'm sure he will be very blessed. But instead of being a multi-billionaire, he's willing to share wealth with us. So therefore, we will have time and money. And if we are part of this wealth transfer, we will have this time and money. It is exactly what this message is about. It's time to really enlarge our dream. And I say all this is to say is that if I am part of this wealth transfer, next year when I'm 70, I'm not slowing down. It is where my ministry will take place, will begin. It has begun years ago, but it's going to climax and peak when I'm 70. You know, God, I mean, it's a personal revelation. God works with 7 and 70s. So all of us who are in the 70s, this is our time and our season. Really, we are not giving up. We're not slowing down. In the 60s, God called you to, who is this man? Dr. Derek. You have no wrinkles on your face. How old are you? You look so young. Are you in your 40s? He's not talking.
36.
56. You're a young boy.
He's like Jack Benny, an old a famous comedian. Jack Benny. He always said that he was 39. He never got older than 39.
Okay.
When he turned 39, he never got another year older. He always said, "How old are you?" "I'm 39 years old." Jack Benny, Dr. Derek. He looks about 39.
Perfect. 33. Okay, we're not growing any older. We're just growing, with more revelation to do more for God. So thank you so much, Dr. T, for really a session of empowerment, empowering us. And I like your last point too. Make God the founder and CEO. And then you said something about when it is all accomplished, humility. If you put God in there and you succeed, it is God who succeeds for you. That's humility. Let me say it again. If you make that's why it's so important to make God the CEO and the founder, so that when you succeed, it's not all you. It's God who made you successful, and that is humility.
Yes.
Thank you again, Dr. T. That's why you must come back every second Thursday. Really, giving us dream bigger and wider.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. I really do. And you got it. This is the purpose of me bringing this message. I didn't know how well we received, but I'm glad that you all got the message. And thank you so much for just allowing me to share that.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So this will be up in YouTube. We'll be sharing to everyone.
Yes.
It may be the few of us, but YouTube, all connect. It reaches out to the world. Amen.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Thank you, Mabel. Thank you for sharing, and thank you once again, Dr. Derek, Brother John, and Dr. T, of course. And so, is there anyone else who would like to share or say something? Kumaran, you want to say something?
Yes, this is a Genie. I just want to share when Dr. T talking about dream big. I just came across this video clip, and I like to want to share.
Okay, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Love you, Dr. T. Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep coming to Asia, okay?
Definitely. Absolutely. Thank you.
It also means keep coming to OPassion.
Wow.
Wow.
When we say beauty contest, it's only natural to picture a beautiful young woman cycling down the ramp, shining bright with a diamond-studded tiara, right? But thankfully, the definition of beauty is evolving, and certainly the age is next. Figures, lawyer and journalist from Lanka has won the Miss Universe Buenos Aires on this week, becoming the first 68 contestant to win the title. Completed 11 colorful events, 7 to 73 in age, to win the Count of Beauty Award.
Alejandra Marisa Rodriguez is from La Plata, capital city of Argentina's Buenos Aires province. As per reports, she embarked on a career
in journalism before pursuing a law degree. She joined an Argentinian television network that she transitioned into a role as a legal advisor for the hospital.
She won the Miss Universe at the age of 60.
At age of what? 60.
60. 60.
Wow.
Yeah. But you look at her face, she doesn't look 60 at all. Yeah. So age is just a number. Yeah. Thank you, Kumaran. Thank you for sharing. All right. Is there anyone else here who would like to share or say something? If not, then maybe we can call it a night. And before we do that, I would like Dr. Tunishai to help us do a closing, a short one, a short summary, Dr. T.
Amen. Yes.
Dr. T, are you there?
I'm here. I'm right here.
Yeah.
I just want to say my final words is to dream bigger by taking off the limits and begin to live the unimaginable. Soar to new heights and experience new depths. Your bigger dreams are a part of his bigger plans for the world globally. And he wants you to be a part of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. T. And thank you, everyone. And so it's 10:34. Shall we call it the night? Good night, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Derek. Thank you, Brother John.
Good night, everyone.
Sister Internet. Thank you, Sister Sasha.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Love you all.
Good night.
Okay.
Good night.
Playing something? Or